Mirage might just be my favourite character in Apex Legends, and it's not just for the comic relief he gives us as we're playing. I mean, that's great, but there's a deeper story behind Mirage that teaches us a great lesson about not living for the opinions of others and learning to find our own true self instead of creating this mirage of ourselves to portray to the world. Let's take a look at Elliot Witt, otherwise known as Mirage, and his deep personality and how ultimately somehow he's wandered into the Apex games. I'm honestly not sure how he has managed to hold on so far. Despite trying to come across as confident and cocky to his adoring fans, things go deeper. On the inside, Mirage is trembling in his boots. He has put up a shell to protect himself, but ultimately he's in way over his head, and I sort of feel bad for him. Before we take a deeper look at Mirage's trembling mental state, let's look closer at Mirage's origin. So, Elliot Witt grew up with 4 brothers and his engineer mother. Let's read Mirage's origin story from the EA website. Mirage is the kind of guy who likes to stand out. The youngest of 4 brothers, he perfected the art of fooling around to get attention. The one thing he took seriously was holopilot technology, introduced to the illusion-creating tech by his engineer mother. He pored over the mechanisms and learned all he could about them. Even when his brothers went missing in action during the Frontier War, Mirage and his mother continued to develop holo devices, and the work brought them closer. While working as a bartender to make ends meet, Mirage heard amazing stories from his patrons about the Apex games and the wealth and glory that came with victory. As good as both of those sounded, he knew he couldn't risk leaving his mother childless until she gave him a set of customized holo devices and told him to follow his dream. Mirage is now the life of the Apex games, outwitting opponents and charming audiences across the Outlands. So it's clear that Mirage entered the games to be the star of the show. Everybody around him in his work environment explained how amazing and great that is. He took it from their opinions, not himself. So it's clear that Mirage entered the games to be the star of the show. He has this outwardly charming personality and tries to come across confident, but truthfully, he's afraid. There's plenty of evidence that Mirage isn't really cut out for the Apex games. Such an example is captured perfectly in the Season 3 launch trailer for Apex Legends.
I'm there, I'm closing down the bar, and next thing I know, the call comes in. Pack your bags, we're moving to a new arena. I'm like, whatever. Like I'm afraid of another planet. What was that?
Chill, brother. Just a minor turbulence. Totally normal for these parts.
Anyway, I've been saying all along we needed a change of scenery. So you're gonna need to find whoever took the tower down and buy them a drink.
Why don't you just ask the new guy?
What? He ain't too bad of a hacker. Knows everything about anything.
Hey, buddy. I hear you're the second smartest guy in the Outlands. Wink. Come on, what are you, hiding something?
Kid's got some moves.
More evidence of Mirage's true personality leaked through dialogue and general gameplay. Every legend says different dialogue when they are alone in the arena, but with Mirage you get to see the stark contrast between his faked confidence he puts on for his teammates and his true inner feelings. Take a listen to how the dialogue changes when Mirage is solo.
Alright, last ring's headed our way. On a ring. No big deal, I think. Only one squad left. One last squad, on my own. What could possibly go wrong? Only 2 enemy squads remain. I love it. Okay, 2 squads left and I'm on my own. Nothing stressful about this at all.
What's quite interesting to me is that Mirage's personality so perfectly fits his character. I mean, Mirage is literally a mirage. He portrays himself as a confident, charming man, but at heart he is an unconfident man who stumbles over his words, sort of seeks affirmation from others in the arena, and is constantly looking for that confidence boost anywhere but himself. Mirage may not have the most interesting backstory, but somehow his character comes out as the most fully developed amongst many of the legends. Mirage is a double entendre of himself. He bamboozles people in the arena and bamboozles his fans by faking his confidence. Mirage is the perfect representation of what it feels like to want to fit in and be liked and trying to do anything to get there. But going down that route instead of looking inwards for your own self and building upon the things that truly matter to you, you end up with a person that falls into a lifestyle he's not really cut out for. To me, it all stems from his childhood, where he felt the need to constantly fight for attention of his mother, but by being the youngest, he always had that safety net. His older brothers went to war whilst he stayed at home with his mother. He is inexperienced in combat and I guess even inexperienced in life. He's never really taken the steps to find his true self. Ever since stepping into adulthood, he's managed to wing his way into the Apex games by putting on a show with his faked charming personality. Yet, he never really got the memo. Even at 30 years of age, Mirage somehow still trusts in the opinions and affirmation of others more so than himself. He wants to be liked, and he hasn't quite found a way to stand tall on his own and trust in himself yet. Mirage's story is a lesson that trying to live for others' opinions and trying to show up your personality and public image means nothing, because that version of you is never going to be the real you. Whatever your opinion on Mirage's personality in-game, I have to admit that to me, Mirage is perhaps the most relatable. At times it's hard to relate with the legends. I mean, a lot of them are absolutely insane, perhaps literally, but for Mirage there's this sense of humanity. You get to learn about his upbringing and how that made an impact on who he tries to be. He's been put into this world where he's been forced to make something of himself, and ultimately he just wants to be liked. Maybe he doesn't even belong in the Apex games and somehow just lucked his way through it. He's like that young rookie in war films that the other guys watch out for, and as the viewer you hope he'll get by okay without messing things up and causing himself any harm. Somehow Mirage has convinced himself he wants the fame, the fortune, at least that's what makes others like him, so he's sort of wandered down that path, but maybe this isn't even the life for him. A story piece done for Mirage showcases some information about him via an online dating profile, and deep down once again you see the side of him where he is trying to prove himself to others. He acts like he's cool, he wants to party, he wants to be in the spotlight, but actually all he wants to do is settle down and have a simple life. I'll read through part of the dating profile that I think is important for portraying this personality of Mirage's. If you want to read the whole thing, I'll put a link in the description. What I'm looking for: hey girl, and that's with an E for excellent. Lingo, I'm hip with the kids. Anyway, don't be shy, say hi. Plenty of me to go around, literally. And I know you don't want to be bamboozled, so here's the deal. I don't want to settle down, but neither do you. You want to go out, have a few beers, not deal with a bunch of obnoxious friends, and just throw caution to the wind with no no bad stuff. And I'm telling you, I'm your guy. I go out, I go all out. Want beer? I own a bar. I have beer. And don't worry about my friends, because most of them have gone south, like 6 feet under south. Whatever, life happens. Wow, that got dark. Anywho, besides the bar, my side job is actually my passion, and I'm considered legendary when it comes to my passion. Get it? When I'm not doing that, I'm murdering pork chops and flirting with some delicious drinks. I don't actually murder pork chops, that's just weird, unless you're into that kind of thing. Anyway, take a chance on me, and when it's over, the ball's in your court. You can go your way, I'll go mine. No harm, no foul. Or maybe you'll like me. We'll get a dog, like a golden retriever or a wiener dog. Wiener dogs are great. Buy a ranch outside Solace City, raise a couple rugrats, you can follow your dreams. I'll be a stay-at-home dad. Not that I want to settle down. I don't. Do I? I don't know. Maybe. So this part's important because it's showing Mirage he's trying to portray himself in a way that he thinks other people want to see him. He is trying to impress people. He's not even thinking about what he cares about, what he believes in. He's just creating this story to try and impress the people on this dating website, essentially. This is Mirage's personality in a nutshell. Wherever he goes, whatever he says, he's constantly trying to do the thing that is to get impressions and good opinions from other people. He did it with his mother, and he does it with his fans and with all of the other contestants in the Apex games. Like I said earlier in this video, Mirage is literally a mirage. He has this outward personality that's completely fake, and inside he is a completely different person. I've always thought that the best stories often tell a lesson of some kind, and in this case, Mirage's whole character and personality is a story in itself that teaches us that we shouldn't care so much about the opinions of others. We shouldn't be constantly trying to get approval from other people, because it leads us down a path where we are living a life that maybe we don't even want to live, and it leaves us clueless as to who we even are. I mean, Mirage is 30 years old, and he's no less wiser about what he wants to do with his life, honestly. I mean, yeah, he's successful and loved worldwide, and maybe You could argue that's great, he's got a good life, but deep down, he is a trembling mess and he has no idea what he wants to do, or maybe even who he is. I'm sure the story we see is almost frozen in time, so for us, Mirage will always be this stuttering fool who just can't quite get himself together, but somehow I feel worried for Mirage, or at least sorry for him. I want to see him get that life he secretly desires, and I hope he can get out of the Apex games before it does him too much harm. Obviously, I don't think we'll ever see a story develop outside of that, but it's an interesting look at Mirage's character. What do you think about this whole theory on Mirage? I think it's a really interesting one. It's not so much a theory, more just a deeper look at his personality and the story that is told through that. Thank you everybody for watching my videos. I have been really enjoying the whole theory and story side of Apex Legends. I'm still going to be doing tips, still going to be doing news, don't you worry. And if you want to catch me live, you can do so by going to twitch.tv/thegamingmerchant. I'm live almost every day from 11 AM PST. And on top of that, I now have a gameplay channel where I upload Apex Legends gameplay every single day. I'll put a link to that in the description too. Alright, let me know your thoughts on this video. I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio!